As we reach the penultimate episode of Season 2, affairs and potential affairs abound. But the niggling little storyline that has been popping up again and again is Gary's weird dalliance with the Orchid Cab Company behind Sid Fairgate's back. One of the reasons Sid has been asleep at the wheel, so to speak, is that he's been focused on the engine of the future, something that might be of interest to the oil industry. And that can only mean one man. Valine is helping Olivia get ready for school when Olivia says she wants cornrows next time. Whoa, slow down there, kid. It's the 1980s. If you're going to go with a culturally appropriative hairstyle, you have to work your way through the Jerry curl first, and then the high top fade, and then maybe you'll be ready for cornrows. Olivia notes that their estranged father is insecure about their love for him, so he feels like he has to buy them things. She is very astute. At the garage, Sid refuses to budge as special guest star J.R. Ewing pressures him to make a deal. J.R. arranges dinner for everyone with Abby as his date, and he invokes the 2,000-mile rule to justify it. When Abby finds out that J.R. wants to patent Sid's newfangled engine that can get you from Kalamazoo to the Waxahachie on a thimbleful of corn oil, she looks concerned. Over at the Wards, Kenny has gone full Dadzilla, buying a box of baby books and telling Ginger that she should be eating for the baby's health. She pushes back at first, but he guilts her into it. Yeah, this is going real well. Abby's ex, Jeff, stops by unannounced to show the kids his, quite frankly concerning, new van that comes complete with a voice changer and cryptography kit for sending messages to the police.
This is the Zodiac speaking.
JR picks Japanese for dinner and gets in a quintessential JR line.
I love these Japanese restaurants. They give me the chance to start the meal under the table instead of ending up that way.
JR explains that rather than manufacture the Fairgate engine, it would be better to patent it and license it so that everyone has to pay them royalties. Sid explains that the engine can't pass emission standards yet, despite getting 90 miles per gallon. I'm not sure that math adds up, given that miles per gallon is how they calculate emissions, and that would be among the top engines even by today's standards. Either way, JR says he knows his way around the emission standards, but Sid says he wants to make an engine that will run cleanly. Besides, Karen asks, if the only thing standing in the way of Sid being a billionaire is patenting the design, what do they need JR for? Also, she's skeptical as to why a big-time oil man like JR would even want a car that burns less gas. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Back at the Cunninghams, Jeff makes a plan with little Brian to take the kids on a secret trip across the country. It's creepy enough that he's plotting to kidnap his own kids, but the framing of the scene and Barry Jenner's line delivery makes it feel like Peter Graves asking the little kid if he likes movies about gladiators. On the ride home, Abby tells JR that she and Gary also have access to the engine's plans, so maybe they can all come to some sort of arrangement. I appreciate how they make the central cast the smarter, more capable characters when JR visits. His powers truly do diminish when he gets too far from his homeland. Maybe Miss Ellie was onto something. The next day, Gary practically begs Sid not to go into business with JR. Sid tells him not to worry about it. Karen gets curious about the engine too, so Sid tells her to check out the plans herself. She can't find them, but she does run into Abby carrying a suspiciously plan-shaped tube, probably marked Secret Engine Plans. Karen agrees to pick up Abby's kids, but when she gets there, Val and Jeff have also arrived to pick up the kids. See, now this is the type of waste that Elon Musk should be concerned with. How can you justify 3 people picking up 2 kids? Jeff tells them that he'll take his own kids, thank you. On the way home, Abby tells Gary that someone should patent Sid's plans on his behalf, because he's so naive. Sid reiterates the fact that the engine is not ready to patent, but Gary is still concerned. So is Karen, especially since she suspects Abby is up to something. Speaking of overbearing spouses, Kenny tries to pressure Ginger into giving up her job. You know, for the baby. Ginger blows him off and bonds with Laura Avery over baby clothes. Richard makes a mistake of mentioning that he made cookies, which triggers a big-time craving on Ginger's part. Yeah, I'm not gonna see those no more. Sid goes to Abby's to confront her about the engine. Abby is shocked at the accusation of subterfuge. On his way out, Sid sees the plan-shaped tube lying around. Since that would be pretty sloppy, Abby shows him that it's just a picture for his office. Valine, of all people, has her head on straight about Sid. If he doesn't want to patent the thing and he's fine with someone stealing it from him, then that's his decision. But it is his decision. The next morning, Abby comes in with the patent application, but Gary sides with his wife and rejects her. For now. Val and Karen witness a kidnapping, and they're only briefly fooled. Karen tries to call the cops, but it's Jeff's weekend with them, so he hasn't done anything wrong. Yet. Kenny has now read a separate book on cravings and has decided that Ginger is allowed to have pizza. Well, okay. If the book says it's alright. At JR's hotel, the plans look to be in order. JR offers Abby the partnership that Sid turned down, and they finally pay off the sexual tension with a trip to the couch to seal the deal. You know what? Sid was kind of a progressive guy. Maybe if JR had pitched him that part of the deal, it would have gone through. Karen storms in to tell Abby about her kidnapped kids, but Abby thinks she's overreacting. This leads to a great exchange between Karen and JR.
Ladies, please, now I think it's getting a little out of hand.
JR, will you please shut up?
Abby is no match for Karen's nagging powers, so she leaves to go find the kids, leaving JR to target Karen with some catty flirting.
I didn't have much luck with your husband, but I seem to be making out much better with your sister-in-law.
And we're out. There's a lot of stuff packed into this one, and it might be a little overstuffed. JR and Abby make good natural allies as the connivers of their respective shows, but they don't get nearly enough time to scheme together. JR disappears for most of the episode while Abby carries out the scheme, and then they just wind up in bed together. That's fine, but I wanted to see them flirt a little more, you know? Especially since JR spent a season with no sexual chemistry on his own show. Most of the episode is spent character building for the finale and for future seasons. Gary listens to Val and calls off the plot with Abby, essentially turning Abby down for his own wife. That's a pattern that wouldn't continue forever. Sid fails to understand the dangers of the business world, something that will also not continue forever, but for other reasons. I think the obvious reason that Sid should patent it, and frankly why JR probably wants it, is that whoever holds the patent can simply refuse to manufacture it. It's like GM killing the electric car. And it's actually kind of frustrating that Sid can't see that. I know there's a running joke that Sid is naive, but there's naive and then there's still needs to be chaperoned to an R-rated movie. And Sid is coming across more like the latter. Kenny continues to be controlling in a totally different way now, something that actually would be fairly consistent. And yet, while I've recapped nearly 2 seasons of this show now, I frequently have to go back and look up Kenny and Ginger's names because they're so unmemorable. My eyes just sort of glaze over with boredom whenever I see them. The only time Kenny was interesting was when he was dating Kristen Shepherd, and the only time Ginger was interesting was when she was getting stalked by Pamela's mother. If that baby comes out and immediately orders a bourbon and branch, maybe I get interested in Kenny and Ginger. And finally, Abby's schemes are interrupted by a problem with her kids, jeopardizing her Mother of the Year trophy. I guess we'll see how that plays out next episode.
'Cause I've been living life right like